What's up, YouTube? Coming back at you with an update on the wagon. So, been out here welding and grinding and some more welding. That's what we got. So, if you guys remember before, right in that area where it's all solid weld, it was welded above that and below it. You can kind of still see it there. But I filled that whole thing with weld. That way I can grind it down and smooth it out. The back corner, told you guys I needed a patch panel for that. I just filled it with weld. And got to grind it down. I started grinding some stuff on it. It's not pretty right now, but it'll look a little bit better when I'm done. So over here I made this whole panel. I actually have one. It's on the other side of the car. You can see it over there. But I made this panel and it stuck out to here, so I folded it around, welded it up in here to this side, and then I put a plate on the front, welded it, hammered it a little bit, and I've actually cut this. I don't know if you guys remember, but this was nicely rounded down to about here. Cut into it, folded this out, and welded the plate straight across. Turned out pretty good. Probably even weld this in here, but not really too concerned. These cars are, this is overkill compared to how they come. So this is one of the panels I made for this side here. So I got to put that in. But this is how it's gonna basically go in, like that. A little bit more further back as far as it can go, and then I'll fold that up like I did the other side. Do the same thing. I had to grind this a little bit and touch it up so it fit in there good, but do that. And I cut this as well. I cut this whole thing off on the other side. So there's that, and then walk to the other side of the car. I got stuff all over here. This is the plate. This came with the kit. This is the plate I used to go on the front right here. I just cut the ears off of it and then shoved it on there and welded it. A lot of work. I've been out here for about 2 hours just doing that, grinding and everything. So you can see it's not too bad. That was all welded there. I still got to do underneath. That's why it's got a gap right in that corner, because the whole bottom still needs to be welded. But kind of see where it's seamed right there. That's where I added all metal in. But not too bad. I'm gonna probably trim that piece and then transition that right here so it's cleaner looking. And then I gotta put my tubing through and weld all that stuff up. So getting closer. Wanted this thing rolling last weekend, but the rain and being sick just wasn't happening. And then this weekend it's just taking a little bit longer than I thought. So a lot of work, especially because I'm trying to make it where it's kind of nice. Not really trying to make it showpiece, but I want it where when you look at it, it doesn't look, well, like this with paint shoved over it. So then got to do this side still, grind it all down, and then probably feather the paint to try to make it where it's kind of smooth, because I am going to paint the bay, but I'm not going crazy on it. I mean, this thing's pretty beat up, so I'll probably power wash it after I get some primer on this stuff. obviously after it all dries and all, probably next weekend, power wash the bay, and then be cool if I could get it rolling, get the engine bay painted. I'd be pretty content with that, and then just gotta put the motor together, order a bunch of crap, get the engine together, put the engine and trans in it, cut the floor for the 5-speed, pull the seat out after I measure where the shifter, how far back it's got to be cut, because I'm going to have the seat trimmed so the shifter sits inside the seat, and then I got to drop that off to the upholstery shop and have them do that, cut it, and all that fun stuff. It's a lot. So I don't know if I'm going to make the show I wanted to make. I was trying to make the pumpkin run in November. It's November 2nd. Seems like like I got time, but I mean, you're talking, it's October 4th, a little less than a month. So, mosquito trying to get at me. So got a little bit less than a month if I want to make that, which, I mean, I'll drive the thing open head, or I could care less, or at least with the open pro chamber on it, because that's only going to be 4 bolts. But I don't know if I'll be able to get it together or not, because it's still a lot of work, a lot of crap I got to do. Got to take the spindles and brakes off the other car, get those on here. Gonna have to buy lines for that and figure out all that stuff. Got to probably make a brake line or two. So there's gonna be a lot of stuff. This isn't just dropping a motor and trans in and going after this is fixed. It's motor and trans, figuring out drive shaft length, which I might have a drive shaft here that works, but I got to check it and see. The brake system, getting that where it works. So finishing the pedals, getting the booster back in after this is all done, and all that stuff together, the master, you know, it's a lot of work. So all that in 4 weeks. So some stuff I could do when I come home at night, but with the banging and cutting and things, it's, you know, when I do the shifter, I'm going to have to pull the seat out, the carpet out, cut all that, which the carpet I want pulled out of it anyway. So I'm not even going to worry about fixing the floors at the moment until after the show. So that'll be like kind of a winter project, so that way next year I can actually enjoy the car a little bit, hopefully, and do what I want to do with the car, which is be able to take my son for a ride and drive the car places and cruise around with the family. And some drag racing. So, still got a lot of stuff I got to grind on this to make it cleaner and nicer the way I want it. Just some touch-up stuff in some other areas. So even after I get these done, I got other stuff that I got to grind away at and try to make it where it's just cleaned up. So we haven't even gotten to that part yet. So the engine bay is probably going to be at least a day, you know, by the time I clean it, grind the extra crap I want to grind, tape stuff off. I gotta open the hole up for the quadrant for the clutch, or the firewall adjuster for the clutch. Probably do that before I paint it, so that way if something happens where I slip, you know, I'm not scratching up nice paint, or decent paint even. Because that ain't gonna be a super pretty engine bay. It's just gonna be whatever it is, you know, however it turns out, it turns out. They got stuff here that's siliconed, and because they wanted a shaved bay and they just did it crappy. So it's what I'm working with. By no means is it going to be a show car, but it's going to be a car that gets used, abused, and some enjoyment out of at least. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna get back to it, and let me show you the engine. We got the engine cleaned up and painted. Hard to believe it's the same engine. Just shoved the engine mounts on. They're not even tight, but turned out pretty good. And evidently I got some oil leaking on my new paint already, so. So much for the tape helping, but that's all right. I was probably dry at least, so that's the good news. But I didn't tape any of the gasket surfaces off because I have to clean gasket material off still. So I just left it. I just wanted to tape this so that way there's no paint or nothing on that. And then I did tape this surface here so that way, even though I gotta still do a little bit of cleaning, but this was pretty clean, so probably have to just wipe this off with a rag and some brake cleaner or something. Turned out pretty good. Content with it. I gotta flip it over and do the other side as well, but I'm sure there's spots I missed from this angle. I gotta clean the head gasket surface and stuff, so I'm not too worried about that. But a lot of that's just overspray, so it'll wipe, all this stuff will wipe out. A little bit of oil and clean up. And then these things never run a frame. These are the worst oil filter you can ever run. This is about all they're good for. Keeping paint out of the oil system when you got to paint your block. I'm happy with it. Turned out good. So now I'm going to get back on the wagon. Try to get some more stuff done on it. At least try to get the one side done today. I'd really like to get both sides done, but if I can get the one side done, I'd be pretty happy. So, alright guys, I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching. If you like this stuff, like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time.